Fourth grade into math lesson 11.5. Use common multiples to write equivalent fractions. I can use common multiples to rewrite two fractions so they have a common denominator or a common numerator. Step it out. Number 1. Sam needs 3/4 cups of banana and 2/3 cups of strawberry for a recipe. How can he write 3/4 and 2/3 as a pair of fractions with a common denominator? A common multiple can be used as a common denominator. So we've talked about this a lot, guys, right? Common multiples and common denominators. So a common multiple is a number that is a multiple of 2 or more numbers, and a common denominator is a common multiple of the denominators of 2 or more fractions. Okay. So list the first 5 multiples of each denominator. So multiples of 4. So we start at 4, right? So 4, what comes next? 8, 12, 16, and 20. That's the first 5, right? Okay. What are the first 5 multiples of 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. Okay, so what do you notice those have in common? They both have 12 in common. Okay, so choose the common multiple. We just said 12. List more multiples if needed. So if we would have done the first 5 and we would have come up with something in common, we could have listed more, correct? Okay, so basically, if you took 4 times 3, does that get us 12? So in that case, that worked. But do you always have to multiply the denominators to figure out their common multiple? No. Sometimes you can get one that's a little less than if you would have multiplied them. Okay, so letter C. Use the relationship between the denominators and the common multiples to write equivalent fractions. Okay, so once again, they gave us the fraction, okay, and then what would we do? So we want 12 here, right? Okay, so how did I get from 4 to 12? By 3. So remember, when I multiply on the bottom, I also multiply on the top. So this would be 3 as well. So what is 3 times 3? 9. Okay, now what is our common denominator or our greatest common factor, did we say? 12, right? We should have written back here, but 12 is our common denominator or our common greatest common factor. So how did I get from 3 to 12? Times 4. So what I do on the bottom, I also do on the top. So 4 times 2 is what? 8. Okay, so 3/4 would be equal to 9/12, right? And 2/3 would be equal to 8/12. Step it out. Number 2. Allison needs 5/8 cup of almonds and 4/5 cup of walnuts for a recipe. How can she write 5/8 and 4/5 as a pair with a common numerator? So a common multiple can be used as a common numerator. Okay, so list the multiples of each numerator you will find. So our fractions were 5/8 and 4/8, and they want the numerator this time, not the what? Denominator. So you have to pay attention. The numerator is the top number of a fraction, right? The denominator is the bottom number of a fraction. So multiples of 5. What are the first 5? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay. What are the first 5 of 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. What do you see in common? 20. Okay. So 20 is going to be our common numerator. Okay, so now we're going to do the numerators. We have to get relationships between the numerators. So is my 20, is it going to go on the top of my new fraction or on the bottom of my new fraction? The top, because we're doing numerators. So push 20 for my new fraction, right? So how did I get from 5 to 20? times 4. So what I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So 4 times 8 is what? Is 32. Okay, so how did I get from 4 to 20? Times 5. What I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So what is 5 times 5? 25. Okay, so 5 eighths is also equivalent to 20/32, and 4 fifths is also equivalent to 20/25. Write the pair of fractions as a pair of fractions with a common denominator or a common numerator. Okay, so they want, you can do it either way, right? Okay, let's go into our denominator. So to get a common denominator, what are we going to do? We're going to take 3 times 5 to get what? 15. Okay, so I'm going to put equals 15 on both sides. So I'm going to get a fraction that has 15 in both of the denominators. Okay, so how did I go from 3 to 15? By 5. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 1 times 5 is 5. So 5/15. 1/3 equals 5/15. Okay, how did I get from 5 to 15? Times 3. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 2 times 3 is 6. So my new fractions are 5/15 and 6/15. Okay, number 2, we have 3/4 and we have 5/8. Do we have to change both of those fractions?
Yes. Wait, no.
No, because is 8 a multiple of 4?
No.
Yeah, so we only need to change one of them to get a common denominator. So I can keep 5/8 and I'm going to have to just change 3/4, right, to something over 8. How did I get from 4 to 8? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So what's 3 times 2? 6. So I have 6/8 and 5/8. All right, so we have 2/5 and we have 3/8. Do one of those already have a common denominator in it, or do we need to get 2 new denominators? 2 new denominators, right? Okay, what is going to be our new denominator? What's going to be our common multiple?
4.
8 times 5 is what, guys? It's 40, right? So we're going to put equals 40 on both sides for our new common denominator. Okay, how did I get from 5 to 40? By 8. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, how did I get from 8 to 40?
Times 5.
Times 5. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. 3 times 5 is 15. So my new fractions are 16/40 and 15/40. On your own, number 4, critique reasoning. Jerry has 2 same-sized circles divided into the same number of equal parts. One circle has 3/4 of its parts shaded, and the other has 2/3 of the parts shaded. His sister says that the least number of pieces each circle could be divided into is 7. Is his sister correct? Explain. So yes or no, because, okay, so if we were going to get a common denominator, what would our common denominator be? 12, right? Okay, so because our common denominator would be 12. How did we get 12? Because we took what? 3 times 4, right? Okay. Not, what did his sister do? She said 7. What did she do? She added 3 plus 4, right? Okay. Which equals 7. So, is she right or not? No. Okay. So sometimes your explanation can help you come to your answer, correct? Number 5. Mathera was working on her math homework when she spilled orange juice on her paper. She wrote 2 pairs of equivalent fractions. What is the unknown numerator covered by the juice? Okay, so what happened here? She did what? 20 times what? Or, sorry, I went the wrong way. Okay, I can't do that though. I could do 20 to 10 and I wouldn't multiply, I would divide. So she divided by 2, divided by 2. Did that get her the right answer? Okay. How did she get from 24 to 6? Dividing by 4. So to go to 8, we would what? Divide by 4, because what you do on the bottom, you do on the top. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So the missing numerator is 2. Okay, so number 6 and 7, write the pair of fractions as a pair of fractions with a common denominator. So are we changing the things on the bottom or the top? The bottom. The bottom, we're getting common, right? Okay, because denominator is on the bottom. Now, we have 4 and 6. We could take 4 times 6 to get 24, but is there a common factor less than 24 here?
No.
Yes. What can both 4 and 6 go into that's less than 24? No. What about 12? Would 12 work? Yes. So I'm going to put equals on both sides, and 12 is my new denominator. How did I get from 4 to 12? Multiplied by 3. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 1 times 3 is what? 3. So one of my new fractions is 3/12. How did I get from 6 to 12? 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 5 times 2 is what? 10. So 10 12 and what? 3/12. Okay, they want a common denominator again. Okay, I have 3/5 and I have 4/10. Do those already share a common denominator on one of them? Yes, about what? The 10, right? So 4/10 we're already good to go with, right? We need to get 3/5 to have a denominator of 10. How did I get from 5 to 10? Times 2. What I do on the bottom, I do on the top. So 3 times 2 is 6. So 6/10 and 4/10 are my new, or 6/10 is my new one, right? We already had 4/10. Okay, so this time they want us to get a common numerator. So is that the top or the bottom? The top. So 1/6 and 5/8. Do we have to change both of those? No. We only have to change one of them. Which one can we keep? The 5/8, right? So we can go ahead and circle 5/8. And then we know that for the other one, we need a numerator of 5 on the top. So how did I get from 1 to 5? Times 5. What I do on the top, I do on the bottom. So 6 times 5 is 30. So 5/30 is my new one, and 5/8 we kept. Okay, so we need a common numerator for 2/3 and 5/6. So our numerators right now have a 2 and 5. So what would be our new common numerator? 10. So I need to have 10 on both sides. How did I get from 2 to 10 on the first one? Okay, so we showed how we got our new fractions of 10/15 and 10/12. We'll do the back side with partners.